This is gonna be my second take recording this. Not sure what happened to the first one, but the three genre compositions I'm working with for my project to debunk socialism narratives. The first is a FAQ styled article. It's just a series of questions about socialism and some answers that don't really advocate for or against socialism, just um, kind of provide context. Then the second composition is a sort of a fact sheet, the kind of graphic that would get uploaded through Instagram, and it just provides little blurbs of information about socialism. Then the third is like an onion styled, clickhole styled satire of the kind of discourse around socialism that is present in American politics. So each of these genre compositions have pretty straightforward conventions, and their limitations aren't too bad, at least not for the first two. So, as far as an FAQ styled piece goes, the most important convention I could identify was that these pieces often tend to be unbiased or sound unbiased if they are biased. It's just a matter of presentation, but it seems like the easiest explanation for that is that if someone is asking a question, that's normally not a signal that they want to debate, it's a signal that they want to learn. And someone answering a question is generally providing some kind of a baseline knowledge. So if someone is providing a baseline, that's generally the kind of thing that would want to be unbiased. It would want to be as objective as possible. So that is what I was kind of going for. Again, I'm not really advocating for or against socialism, only saying that it's misrepresented, providing context for how that's happened and why it's happened. So that's the FAQ. The only other main genre convention I wanted to stick by was the personal you convention of it, like speaking to someone, because if someone's asking a question and they're reading through an FAQ, it's because they specifically have the question that they're looking to answer. So I'm speaking to them. I'm hoping that by doing so, I can kind of gain some of the credibility that FAQ sections typically have. And between the credibility of just having a conversation with someone and the ethos of seeming unbiased, I'm hoping that I can get people with open minds to just reconsider the narratives that they've been told. As far as the limitations for that go, an FAQ does mean that I can't actually argue for or against socialism, at least not this FAQ, just because I'm trying to go for unbiased, but one step at a time, I guess. Then, as far as my second composition goes, the fact sheet is pretty straightforward. If there's any limitation on me personally, it's that I am not a professional graphic designer, so my fact sheet graphic is probably not going to look as clean as one made by an organization would, but I'm still going to be providing short blurbs of information. And the most important convention I could think to follow was um, towing the line between formal and accessible. So I had to make sure that I was providing information in a way that made me sound credible, or at the very least made the information sound credible, but I had to make it so that my word choice and the topics I was discussing weren't the kind of thing that no one would understand. Because if this is the kind of thing that's going to be spread through Instagram, it does need to be accessible to a wide variety of people. So, I stuck to like one sentence per topic, and there's four topics. Um, I use numbers where necessary, but not for every point. I've just included sources so that if anyone's curious, they can check them out. And the graphic on its own provides information that is easily digestible, but maybe not the kind of thing that most narratives about socialism would tell you. Then, as far as my last convention, um, I, I'm doing the onion styled piece, and the limitations of that are obvious. I can't really present much of an argument on my own. The argument has to be implied, and since I'm only doing really like a headline and a picture, um, because most of the time these Onion articles just get sent in chats or whatever so that people can see the headline and laugh. I'm I have to make it so that the point shines through in that headline, and perhaps through the picture. The picture's probably going to be silly, but that limitation just means that whatever headline I go for has to be ridiculous. And that's what I'm going to do. Just that kind of falls in line with the genre conventions. You have one headline, one sentence to capture people's attention and make your point. So, being succinct and using wording that makes it obvious that you're mocking someone, that's kind of what I'm going for. And I'm hoping that that makes it easier for the reader or the viewer or whatever to see that headline, maybe laugh, maybe not, then consider where do they draw the line as far as what kind of narrative about socialism is ridiculous.